a car ought to walk. I pray this devil die and get every evil thing the Lord got to give. And listen, I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Come here, SHALAM. Come here, SHALAM. I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Black people on drugs, and we suffering and dying. And I know it seems like you can do whatever you want to this people. I know it seems like this, but the time for glorifying yourself is soon at an end.
Shalom. This is Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge in Atlanta, Georgia. The subject I'm going to break down today is we're going to get into the Edomites and Esau. And instead we're going to prove in the Bible how we know that Esau is the so-called white man according to the scriptures. We're going to pull it in the Bible. You understand? We're going to break it down. Just a short breakdown. You understand? Remember too, we have classes being held in Atlanta at the Downtown Library, Central Branch Library. Any questions you have on class schedules or previous subjects, you call 404-997-9123. That phone number is going to be on the screen. So any question you have and you're in the Atlanta area, make sure you call that number. Okay, the first scripture I'm going to have the brother pull, it said the officer pull is going to be in Genesis chapter 4, start at verse 8. You understand? Because a lot of times you hear us at camp, we say the Edomites and Esau, and we say the so-called white man. We're going to prove in the Bible how we know it's the so-called white man. You understand? Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 4 verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
Right. So a lot of times we've all heard this story. You understand? Cain slew his brother Abel. You understand? Cain was known like the first murderer on the earth. And he killed his brother Abel because he was jealous of his brother, because his brother had a better offering to give the Lord than he did. You understand? Abel did the things correct according to the Most High, and Cain did the things incorrect. You understand? So because of that, Cain killed his brother Abel. We're going to prove that this same spirit that's in Cain is in the so-called white man today and in the scriptures. You understand? We're going to prove that same spirit in Cain is in Esau, and he's the father of the Edomites. You understand? Just give me to verse 12.
Verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it should not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond should thou be in the earth.
Okay, a fugitive and a vagabond. Because Cain killed his brother, you understand, the Most High was giving him a punishment. And the Most High said he would be a fugitive and a vagabond. What is a fugitive? A fugitive is a man on the run from the law. You understand? He committed crimes and have not been brought to justice and is waiting for his judgment. You understand? That's the so-called white man. The so-called white man has committed crimes all over this earth. More specifically to the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. He's put us in slavery, lynched us, murdered us, conspired against us. You understand? Like, he's done these things and has never been brought to justice. You understand? He's a criminal who has not been brought to justice because the Most High is going to judge him. You understand? It's not the other nations that's going to do it. It's the Most High who's going to judge him. You understand? And a vagabond. What's a vagabond? Look up these definitions. A vagabond, especially a man with no land, no culture, no inheritance of land. He has no home. You understand? The so-called white man, again, has no home. That's why he goes and kills and murders and takes lands over and calls himself that people. He's a vagabond and a culture thief. You understand? You got Amalek, the so-called white man who's calling himself a Jew. You understand? Calling himself a Jew and is not. He's really an Edomite. You understand? Taking our culture, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, and calling himself that. He called himself a South American. He called himself an American, South African, and Australian, and Hawaiian, all these places that he's not from. But he steals those lands. And this is how we know this is talking about the so-called white man as well. So, read on. Is there more on that?
Verse 13.
Let's skip it down to verse 15.
Verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance should be taken on him sevenfold.
You understand? So a little backdrop. Cain got this punishment from the Most High. And he felt like it was too much that he couldn't bear it. You understand? He felt like it was too much. He felt like wherever he goes, people are going to want to kill him. You understand? He's a fugitive and a vagabond. You understand? So the Most High says, whoever takes vengeance on Cain, vengeance will come on them sevenfold. You understand? Like a lot more than what they did, because you understand, like if you think about it, back in those old days, especially like slavery days in the early 1900s with the lynchings and things like that in the 20s and 30s, things like that. If you could picture in your mind, like the white man was able to kill blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, lynch them, and get away with it. Have a lynch party, that was it. But if they even heard that a so-called black man maybe killed a white man, you understand, or whatever, a white man died and maybe it was a black man who did it, the whole town was burnt down. Many black men was harassed and tortured and murdered, you understand, women also, you understand, like he takes vengeance sevenfold, you understand, like you can't just kill a so-called white man and get away with it. You will get prosecuted and go to jail. But black people don't get that justice that Cain gets, you understand. The Most High did that, you understand, and read on.
And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
And the Lord set a mark on Cain. What's that mark? The curse of leprosy. Understand? Like any murderer, how do you know they committed the crime? You ever heard the saying, the blood is on their hands? You understand? The blood of the so-called white man, that's why we say so-called white man, because he's really red. The blood of the so-called white man shows forth through his skin. You understand? So that's how you know who the murderer is of the earth, because the whole planet, whether you're a child of Israel or you a Polynesian, Moabite, Ammonite, so-called, you know what I'm saying, so-called Asian, African, whatever it is, the whole earth is brown-skinned people. You understand? Except the so-called white man. Why? So the whole earth can know who the murderer is on the earth. Understand? That was the mark that Cain was given. So everyone can see who this person is, who that if you do anything to him, it'll come back to you sevenfold. Like you do something to that white man, he'll drop an atomic bomb on your land like he did in Japan. You understand? That's what happens when you do that. You understand? Give me Genesis 25, verse 23 to start. You understand? Now we're bringing this out from the beginning to prove that how we know this is the so-called white man and Esau and the Edomites. You understand? The Edomites is the so-called white nation, and Esau is the father of them. We're going to get it.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people should be separated from thy bowels.
Stop there. So a little backdrop. Isaac had a woman, Rebecca, and she was barren. She wasn't having any children. So he inquired of the Lord. The Lord put 2 children in her womb. Now she's having trouble. Her pregnancy, it's a rough pregnancy. She's having pains and things like that. So she inquired of the Lord and also says, if I'm supposed to be pregnant, why is this happening? Okay, and the Most High says there are 2 nations in your womb. 2 nations, meaning nations are sort for nationality. 2 nations are in your womb, 2 manner of people that will be separated from thy bowels. Read on.
And the one people should be stronger than the other people.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. We're going to prove that this is the so-called Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, the Israelites, and the so-called white man. Now, Jacob is the one that's going to be stronger than the other. You understand? Like, we serve slavery and atrocities and murder and there's so much things in America, but are still stronger people than the so-called white man. You can see it in your entertainment, in your sports, spiritually just a lot more inclined than the so-called white man. The white man's power comes from the Most High just for his destruction, Salakia. Read on.
And the elders should serve the younger.
And the elders should serve the younger. Esau is going to serve Jacob in his slavery. Read on.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Go ahead.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
It's like the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Now, we're getting that curse again. We're getting that mark again that Cain had. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. So he was red. His blood showed forth through his skin. Very hairy. Like if you look at those pictures of a so-called white man, like the caveman, you understand? Very hairy like a dog. You understand? He grows hair like an animal. You understand? And this is how this child came out. Read on.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name Esau. Read on.
And after that came his brother out.
Good.
And his hand took hold of Esau's heel.
His hand took hold of Esau's heel. Spiritually, also, like, it's a spiritual thing, like, because if you go in the Apocrypha, Jacob is the world to come. So Esau's first, and then comes Jacob. But the point is also, they did not describe how Jacob came out, because he came out looking like everybody. Brown skin, like a normal child. Esau's the one who came out looking different, red and hairy. You understand? So give me the, where's that, verse 27? Give me the 27.
Verse 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Esau was a cunning hunter. Little characteristics of the so-called white man, a cunning hunter. You turn on the Nature Channel or whatever, you see the so-called white man out there putting the dairy urine on himself, trying to blend in with the elements and smell like the elements and the other animals so he can go and hunt. You know, he's in the field, he's in the mountains. That's what he's into. Also, he's a cunning hunter on the side of his technology and his military also. Like, they got weapons and things that can find people just by picking up on their heat, picking up on their, on their, where they are in the caves by like heat sensors. I also remember that flight that went down. They ain't find it, but that flight that went down, they were sending out all types of hunters and people to find that flight that went into the ocean. You understand? So he's a cunning hunter. You understand? Read on.
A man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents.
And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. You understand? You talk to Jacob, you understand, blacks, Hispanics, Native American, that's what they're doing. They're just chilling, hanging out, cooling, you understand? They're not out in the field or like that, like Esau, you understand? Just a plain man. Is there more on that? Okay, give me 27, verse 39. You understand? These are scriptures proving how we know Esau is the so-called white man and that wicked seed from Cain. You understand?
Genesis chapter 27, verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Stop there. So a little backdrop on this. You understand? You know, Isaac blessed Jacob and not Esau. You understand? From their birthright. He blessed Jacob and not Esau. Esau found out, went back to his father, wants to know if there was anything left for him, a blessing for him. He's crying and miserable, wants to know. Isaac told him the fatness of the earth will be one of his blessings. Meaning, like, the so-called white man rules the whole earth. You understand? He's gone in everyone's land and ate it up and destroyed and murdered to take all these lands. Like I said earlier, he's in everybody's land, calling himself those people. You understand? Read on.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by thy sword shall thou live. You understand? Who lives by the sword? The so-called white man. You understand? He's the murderer on the earth. He goes to the Polynesian islands and kill everybody. He went into Jerusalem, our land, and committed atrocities and killed our people to be in that land. And he calls himself a Jew. You understand? He's gone to South Africa and killed them to be there. He killed in America, please. He done killed over 77 million Native American Indians to be in this land right now. You understand? In Australia, he's killed. He lives by the sword. You understand? He lives by war, and that's a characteristic of these people, Esau. Who else can you say it is? Can you say it's the Moabites or the Chinese? Do they live by the sword? You understand? Is the African nations, do they live by the sword? No. The so-called white man is known to go to other people's lands and murder to get that land. You understand? Is there any more on that?
And shall serve thy brother.
And shall serve thy brother again. Now, after all that, the Edomites' reign is for a short time. He was still going to slavery under the Israelites, under the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? Give me Genesis 36. Or sorry, give me, you go ahead and give me Genesis 36 and 1. It says, we broke down Esau. It's a quick breakdown of who this person is.
Genesis chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Esau is Edom. You understand? He's the Edomites. The Edomites are all the children that come from Esau, the so-called white men, the white nations. French, the white men in America, British, German, Russian, Polish, all those white people are Edomites. You understand? And I think, was it verse 8? Give me verse 8. What does that say?
Verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Now, you understand, the white man calls himself Caucasian. Caucasian meaning those Caucasus Mountains between in Georgia, Russia, between the Black and the Caspian Sea. You understand? He's a rock dweller, caveman. You understand? That's his habitation, Mount Seir. You understand? That's how we know. You put it all together, you start to understand who the so-called white man is. Remember, everybody has a biblical nationality. You understand? And the white man's is Esau. So with that, I'm going to wrap up the class. Any questions you have, call 404-997-9123. You're going to pay your tithes to the I.S.U.P.K as well. 10% of the Most High gives you. With that, I'm going to say shalom.
When I Nowadays I work hard on the job till I come cross y'all. Still like I'm a criminal. Crime and get caught, it could be your first charge. Like, man, you ain't getting the minimum. It go dip, squat, 5-mile run. Push, pull, sit on. Goddamn, that's strong. Looking at my baby, trying to keep them doing wrong. It's too long for they grown. I can't leave them on their own. They killed Day like he had a 30-day case. The news covering up the story for what they say.